Hello and welcome back to our series about getting started in marketing. In this episode, we will be talking about what is your brand persona and why is it important. So in previous episodes, we have talked about your customer persona. How is your brand persona different?
The brand persona is something that you project to your audience. So how do you want people to perceive your brand? Are you efficient? Are you quirky? Are you professional? Are you rigid?
Obviously very serious, obviously.
Well, I am.
Yeah, I'm the funny one.
Help us.
But it is okay. So Melanie and I both have our separate businesses. So the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast is our little venture together.
Show it off. Show it off. Go on. There you go.
There it is, right? So it's our venture together. And separately, we have our own businesses. So in my business of IPA Group, I am very serious. I am very... You know, it's hard to believe, but I do let myself go in the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast because it is much more relaxed environment. Whereas when you're working with corporates and, you know, business people, they can be quite scary.
Well, yeah. And I think a lot of it's down to perception as well. I mean, just by setting up my own business, I attracted a certain amount of people to my business because of the name of it and the problem I solve. And in order for me to attract a slightly different audience, I needed to change how I was perceived. So, you know, I was friendly, sort of down to earth, small time, small business, that sort of thing. And that was great. That suited me down to the ground for my three larger audiences, which for me is parents who are self-employed. That was my absolute largest. It was mostly females, actually, that were my largest. And then my second largest audience, and still is, would be sort of the local enterprise office, partnerships, industries and companies that wanted me to provide training for individuals and groups on a larger scale.
Yeah.
And then my third largest audience would be for men who are self-employed, and it kind of just stopped there. Okay, now if you go back into the series, you'll hear a bit more information about the customer persona. Obviously, there was a huge more going on in the background, but I'm just giving you an overview. But my brand persona was kind of small, and it wasn't really attracting a huge amount of interest from larger corporates. And so I had to tweak my brand persona and be seen as a bit more professional, I suppose, a bit larger scale. So in order to do that, I got some power headshots done. I stopped wearing Hellraiser t-shirts.
You have those for the Monday Morning Marketing Podcast now.
And, you know, I was then going on stage at large events. I would have a trade stand at these large events. I would shake the hands of these well-known top professionals because they just didn't see me at all in my previous persona. So you can tweak your persona to widen your audience as well.
Yeah,
so
you can.
Yeah.
You can, but you also have to stay true to who you are, because at the end of the day, when it comes to standing up on stage, you have to give off that persona that people are now expecting of you. So if they're expecting a stiff upper lip and, you know, very professional and maybe talking with a bit of an accent, which, no, it's not me.
No. I think everybody thinks I'm a great British villain when I speak on stage.
Well, we're not going into politics. No. We'll save that for another time. But when you're typing even online and writing up your posts and stuff, it still has to sound like you, as if you were meeting them in person. So if you have, you know, publications going out on whatever platform, and they're very formal and using big words, and that's not you in your day-to-day life, walking around the town or meeting people in the Chamber of Commerce events, then don't do it online. If it's your brand to wear bright colors, then do that. If it's, we know Joanne Sweeney, who always wore red shoes. That was just her thing, red shoes. And she became known for that. And so everywhere she went, Christine Gritman, always wearing red. There's something about this red. And today in this episode, we're not wearing any red.
But our brand is red.
Yeah. Our brand is red. And when I go out for IPA Group, I will wear brand colors. I will wear red, black, gray, white. Those are our brand colors, which the only difference with Monday Morning Marketing is there's yellow thrown in. I don't wear yellow. But there is that, if someone should be able to look at you and know who you are, what you do, whether it is wearing a branded t-shirt, whether it's wearing, a branded hoodie, anything, walking around with branded pens, notebooks, your brand should be very important. So then if something were to happen to you as an individual, say you get caught up on the wrong side of the law for whatever reason, that could really, really impact your whole business. For just, I don't know, a speeding ticket, a parking ticket, we're not talking anything major, but it'll still end up being Googled and showing up online as this is the person who you want to work with.
Yeah, and the brand persona is something that can also be developed and built upon. We've all probably looked at or maybe done a start your own business course. Doesn't matter which country you're in, you've probably done something like it. Or if this is the first time you've heard of it, trust me, your country has one. And I can truthfully say to you, most of them make you do a business plan. And most of you will tear it up in the first year. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just a thing. But you know what? You can do exactly the same with your brand persona as well. If you don't like your brand persona, you don't feel you're sticking to it as much as you would like, it's not the end of the world. You can tweak it, or heck, you can completely transform it. We've seen brands over here and in Europe who have completely transformed their brands. They've had to do it. Well, they've done it both ways. I think I've seen one brand do sort of like a soft push out, and another one who just completely transformed overnight. So as long as you keep your audience informed that something's coming up, that your offerings isn't changing, or maybe it is, as long as you keep telling your audience and you're managing expectations, that's entirely what your brand persona does. And there's lots of different ways you can manage your brand persona. So Esther, give us an outline of the types of things that we need to be aware of in our brand persona.
Oh, so many things. Okay, so in your brand persona, obviously, it is the way that you talk, the things that you say. It's not just your branding in the colors of your logo or the text, the font of your text. It goes so much deeper. It is ingrained into your website. It's in your corporate headshots or your fun headshots. I mean, if you go to our websites, stomp.ie, ipagroup.co, or themondaymorningmarketing.com, that was your cue to put it in.
Sorry. I'm not very good at this, am I?
themondaymorningmarketing.com. You will see stark differences across all of them, because IPA Group is, and stomp.ie, we have our corporate headshots and everything. And the Monday Morning Marketing, we're laughing our heads off. We're having a great time because it's what we are. It's where we can let loose. So there's nothing to say that you can't have these two separate entities and two separate brands. Just maybe learn to mix them or learn to love their separate.
I mean, I think we're still professional, and we're still sort of authoritative and up to date and all that. But, over time, you just get to understand you can be more comfortable in your own skin,
Yeah.
And I've definitely found I'm a hell of a lot more comfortable in my skin these days in the Monday morning marketing. And it's kind of like a second skin.
Yeah, it's a release for some people. So you should also include in your brand persona things that are personal to you. So if you're big into the ecology or saving the planet, include that. I mean, we saw that when British Petroleum rebranded and went all, their logo went all green. That's to, sort of give the impression that they're very ecological. Funny how it happened just after the oil spill. Anyway, having to rebrand isn't necessarily a bad thing, but do make sure that people know why it's happening, what you're doing, what's going on in the background. And if it's because, you've all of a sudden become vegan, you can include that. There's nothing to say you can't.
Yeah. Ultimately, there will be downloads that you can find online that will help you create your own brand persona. But what we're trying to say here is just because you've built your business on a particular brand doesn't mean you end your business if you want to change it or update it. Because I've had a couple of people come in, because both myself and Esther mentor people as well. And I've had a couple of people come in saying, oh, we're thinking of going in a different direction. So, we need a new website and we need to do. I'm like, no, not at all. You just need to let your audience know. And obviously you'll get some people who will sort of naturally fall away from your business if it's no longer in their interest. But then you'll also get people who will go, this is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why you should also include some personal traits, because other people might be attracted to that when they weren't previously attracted to your business offerings. Yeah. So at the end of the day, your business is yours. So make it as much about you, and there's no point in having the two so completely different that it actually makes no sense.
Yes. So we've covered quite a few important things so far throughout the series. Remember, you can listen back to this as often as you like. We would love for you to subscribe here on our YouTube channel, and make sure you hit that bell so that you get notifications of our next video coming up, especially in this series. And don't forget to check us out on your favorite podcasting system. And Esther pointed out, find our branded merch in the Etsy store.
Yes, you can find that through our website, themondaymorningmarketing.com.
Remembered it that time.
Yeah, she's getting better. I might keep her around. We'll be back soon for another episode in the series. Until then, bye-bye.